Hello and welcome to Temple Bethel's Erev Shabbat service. We're so glad that you are here with us tonight. My name is Nina King Madlam. I'm the rabbinic intern. And of course, you all know senior clergy, Cantor Fine.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Please be sure to greet each other and wish each other a Shabbat Shalom in the chat. And like I say, sprinkle the emojis throughout the service. Remember too that the digital and print versions are the same for page numbers in our Siddur, the Mishkan Tefillah. And tonight, Cantor Fine will welcome us all to the service with a nigun, a wordless song, before we light candles.
Especially this week with voting and elections and COVID increasing, it's really important to find some holy, sacred time. And unfortunately, our accompanist, Debbie Jop, is not here. She has a respiratory infection. We are wishing her a big refuah shlema. I very much miss her here at the temple, but we will sing together. And we begin with a nigun, a happy nigun, a nigun mazel tov, a good luck mazel tov that goes like this. Sing with me. Ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la ya la la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la ya la 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 ya la 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 ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la la, ya la la la. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la ya la la la, hey!
What a great way to start. Thank you so much for that. I now would like to invite Marlene Matola and John Barnes to join us, and we're going to turn to page 2. They have I'm so excited that you two are here tonight. You have an auspicious anniversary, so we're very glad to have you here to light Shabbat candles. Please join us on page 2.
Good to see you both.
Okay, I light the candles first, right? John.
Push. There you go.
Why is this always so annoying when you're on camera?
Sweeping the
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Shabbat Shalom. We'll see you shortly. Don't go away.
Okay, we won't.
Okay.
I would like to welcome all of you to take this moment to look inward, leave outside any of that frantic energy that you may be holding, and join me on page 8. I begin with a prayer of gratitude for all that is holy in my life. God needs no words, no English or Hebrew, no semantics, no services, but I need them. Through prayer, I can sense my inner strength, my inner purpose, my inner joy, my capacity to love. As I reach upward in prayer, I sense these qualities in my Creator. To love God is to love each other, to work to make our lives better. To love God is to love the world God created and to work to perfect it. To love God is to love dreams of peace and joy that illumine all of us. and to bring that vision to life. Please join us on page 14 for Or Zarua.
We join in these words: light is sown for the righteous, radiance for the upright. Oh, you righteous, rejoice in God and acclaim God's holy name. Or Zarua, lat tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Zarua, lat tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Zarua, lat tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Yisrael lev simcha. O Zarua, lat tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Yisrael lev simcha. Ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la. O Zarua, la tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Zarua, la tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Zarua, la tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Yisrael lev simcha. O Zarua, la tzadik, O Yisrael lev simcha. O Yisrael lev simcha.
In a single voice, we welcome the Shabbat bride on pages 20 and 21, verses 1, 2, 5, and then we'll rise on number 9.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekapela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, pnei Shabbat nekapela. Shamo v'zachor b'dibor echad, ishmi'ano el ha'meyuchad. Adonai echad u'shemo echad, לשמו תפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תהילה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך קומי אורי, אורי, אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה. תוך אמוני עם סגולה. בואי חלה, בואי חלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
Please be seated as we continue on page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה.
Amen.
ביום Alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon v'yomechon u'v'chayedecho Beit Yisrael bagala u'vizman kariv v'imro.
Amen.
Yesh merabam mevorach leolam olam meomaya yitbarach veishtabach veitpar veitromam veitnaseh veitadar veitalev veitalal shemei de kodeshah.
Barechu.
Richu le'ela min kobechata v'shirata tosh bechata v'nechemata damiran bi'ama ve'imro.
Amen. Please rise and face east as we turn to page 28 for the Baruch Hu.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 yai la la la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Vaed HaMevorach Leolam Vaed.
According to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzavot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Blessed are you, Adonai, who brings on evening. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And I'm going to ask you to pay. We're going to turn the page and just kind of hang on to that. And we're going to jump to page 373 for like a Jewish mantra that Cantor will lead us. And then we'll come back to page 34.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live. Fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one, and we will know that you are one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed. Please be seated. We continue with V'ahavta on page 36. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol meodecha ve'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha Vishinantam levanecha vidibartam vishivtecha beveitecha uvelechtecha vaderech uvishochbecha uvekumecha Ukeshartam leot al yadecha vehayu letotafot bein einecha Uchetavtam al mezuzot beitecha uvisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם emet.
About freedom, Rav Nachman is credited with saying, the exodus from Egypt occurs in every human being, in every year, in every era, in every day, and in every person. Please join us on page 40.
Ya baba bim bim bam, ya baba bim bam, ya baba bim bim bam, ya baba bim bam, ya lai 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 lai, ya baba bim bam, ya lai 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 lai, ya baba bim bam, mi kamocha bahelim Adonai, mi kamocha nedar bakodesh, Nora tehilot o sefer. Nora tehilot o sefer malechutecha rahuvanecha bokei ayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam zeli zeli anu ve'amru Adonai imloch leolam va'ed. Hey, yabba bim bim bam, yabba bim bam, yabba bim bim bam. Ya ba ba bim bam, ya lai 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 lai, ya ba bim bam, ya lai 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 lai, ya ba bim bam. V'nemar ki fad Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael.
Please join me on the top of page 43. Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will.
Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukat Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom ve'al Yerushalayim ve'al kol amo ve'al Yerushalayim Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai Haporei Sukat Shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael.
And on page 44 for Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
As we prepare for tefillah, please rise and face east, turning to pages 46 through 52.
Adonai sifatai tiftach ufi agitei latecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot Ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei Vneihem, Leman Shemo Be'ava, Melech Ozer Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Ve'ezrat Sarah. Ata Gibor Leolam Adonai, Mechaye HaKol Ata Rav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach Umorid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechaye HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Cholim, O Matir Asurim, O Mekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Mirchamocha Bal Gevurot, O Midom Elach, Melech Memit, O Mechaye, O Matzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman ata le'achayot hakol, Baruch ata Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh, v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom, yahallelucha sela, Baruch ata Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated as we continue with tefillah on the top of page 55. Please join me. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. And on page 56. So for our Modim prayer tonight, I have really been thinking about what a time of reevaluation and reconsideration we have been in as a country. And I know that I am so grateful for my own meditation practice and my opportunity to really tune in and check in with myself. I invite you to share the things this week that you're especially grateful for in this week of evaluation and reevaluation, and ask Cantor Fine if there are things that you would like to share that you are grateful for.
Yeah, it's always hard. Each week there are so many things that I'm grateful for, and there is someone dear to me who had cancer and is now cancer-free, and this evaluating and reevaluating and thinking about each moment, and you know, in our country's life and in our individual lives, how important it is to celebrate in the moments that we have.
So before we, thank you, Cantor Fine. Before we go on to Shalom Rav, join me on page 57. You are with us in our prayer, our love, and our doubt, in our longing to feel your presence and do your will. You are the still, clear voice within us. Therefore, O God, when doubt troubles us, when anxiety makes us tremble, when pain clouds the mind, we look inward for the answer to our prayers. There may we find you, and there find courage, insight, and endurance. And let our worship bring us together closer to one another, that all Israel and all who seek you may find new strength for your service. Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levarcha beyirah na'avod.
And now page 60. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amecha Tasim Leolam. Ki ata melech Adon lechol ha-shalom, ki ata melech Adon, lechol ha-shalom. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amecha tasim leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amecha tasim leolam. V'tov beinecha levarech et Amecha Yisrael bechol eit ubechol sha'ah bishlomecha. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amecha tasim leolam. Shalom Rava Yisrael Amecha tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Tasim leolam.
As we prepare for silent prayer, I invite you to reflect on the words on the pages 62, 63, or the words that are on your heart. And then please join me on page 62.
Ose shalom imromav, oyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. 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 Yase shalom, Aseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael.
I have the great pleasure and honor to invite back Marlene and John and offer them a special blessing on this auspicious anniversary. Give them a chance to turn on their camera and then turn on their mic. I'm wondering if they are having technical problems.
There they are.
Oh, there they are. I just needed to be patient.
Camera on, mic on.
There you go.
You're back.
Sorry, we had to
Okay.
run around the whole
That's
house.
okay. I'm
Okay.
like I said, I'm just
For a
so
minute.
pleased and happy to offer you this blessing on your special anniversary.
Camera on, mic on.
And we can hear you.
That's okay. Like I said, I'm wondering if they can turn that down in the background. We'll see. I'm not sure.
Can
Okay.
you turn it down in the background? It's a little loud.
Camera on, mic on.
Please help me.
And we can hear
Why do we have
Like,
echoes?
if they can turn that down in the background, we'll see. I'm not sure. Okay.
turn this down in the background? Or just don't talk. That'll do it too. For a
We
few
have
seconds.
3 different devices going.
I see.
Maybe mute them all for just a sec.
Yeah, maybe just mute them for 1 sec. Make it this special for you guys. Okay.
We're
I
back.
will
But
try
it's
my
still
best.
going.
I see.
I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. God of all
You did.
generations, we give thanks for the blessings that have graced your marriage
Now we can't hear what you're saying.
and look back upon the day of your union with thankfulness. So may this joy be with you always, your way of life, loving and good, as you help each other bear burdens and as you share your joys. May God give you a peaceful dwelling where contentment and love find a resting place. May you maintain a home in which glows the light of faith, one that honors your membership in the house of Israel, our people. Oh God, grant that you may grow older together in health and live in gratitude for your marriage. And let us all say, Amen.
Amen. And this is your double high, I understand.
Well, hi.
How
The big
beautiful.
36.
36 years together. So I'm going to bless you in the ancient words of the priestly benediction. So I'll ask you to just tilt your heads down just a little bit so I can bless you. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yuchonecha. May God's face always be lifted up to you and be graceful to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Shalom. May God's faith and strength be with you. May God always be with you. And we say together, Amen. Amen. And we sing, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Simin Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, Simin Tov, Yelano, 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 Olecho Yisrael, Yelano, Yelano, Olecho Yisrael, Yelano, Yelano, Olecho Yisrael, Yelano, Yelano, Olecho Yisrael. Mazel tov. I wanted to go on because I wanted to see you dance more. That was wonderful moves. Mazel tov.
Thank you very much.
Mazel
Good to
tov.
see you.
And now it's my great honor and pleasure to welcome Cantor Fine for tonight's sermon.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Well, another election voting day has come to an end. Leading up to, during, and now after the election, there has been conflict, judging, righteous indignation, threats, and nationwide dissension. And that's on top of the alarming increases of COVID cases, increased worldwide anti-Semitism and terrorism, and our natural disasters. It feels like the perfect storm. We have Spilkis on a level that has not been seen in our lifetime. So tonight, I want to speak about words, slandering, arguing, and community. In Leviticus 19, there are two verses back to back. One says we should not slander others, and the other, we should rebuke the wrongdoer, lest we share in their iniquity. Huh? Don't these sound like contradictory instructions? The Talmud contains two powerful ideas about slander. One, destroying the reputation of someone through speech is akin to murder, and like murder is irrevocable. And two, the tongue is an instrument so dangerous that it was made hidden from view behind two protective walls, the mouth and the teeth, to prevent its misuse. False words are worse than stealing or cheating someone financially because amends can be made for monetary harms, but the harm done by slanderous words can never be unsaid, unheard, or repaid. There is a new worldwide outlet that can carry this Lashon Hara, malicious gossip, far and wide. It's called the internet. People slandering others online has now become the norm. In Pirkei Avot 5, it says, arguing for the sake of heaven will endure, but a debate not for the sake of heaven will not endure. This arguing is not the sake of heaven and must not endure. So how do we return to healthy arguing? First, we must recognize that there is merit and truth to both sides of an argument. Second, we need to take a big step back and realize there is a person, a real live person on the other side of that screen, and we usually know nothing about that person's history. We don't know their life, their upbringing, their ethics. We are triggered by one set of words on a page and become convinced that through this alone, we know the person. Knowing them, we then feel we have the right to squelch their words through righteous counterwords. We become rivalrous, hurling our subjective truths, that's truths with a small lowercase t, in an attempt to one-up each other, caught up in an endless power struggle leading nowhere. We go for the jugular through shaming, accusing, denying, threatening, and raging. Would we respond to someone like this if we sat in a room with them or before we got to really know them? Do we condemn the stranger and draw conclusions on their character based on their slanderous words? We have lost the gift of hearing one another, of having empathy even when the other is saying something we disagree with. We must not listen just as an opportunity to pounce. We need to, but develop within ourselves this power to hear, to really hear the needs of someone else. We need to respond not to quick judgment and challenge, but by asking more questions in order to understand why someone is so intensely angry or outraged or stubborn. What do they need us to hear? What do we need them to hear? So does this sound too accommodating or too idealistic? We are also obligated to speak out against injustices, especially when it involves those who hold leadership positions and whose actions affect us and others. On the subject of speaking out, Albert Einstein said, quote, "What makes the world a dangerous place is not so much the people who do evil, but those who do nothing to stop it." And Elie Wiesel summed it up this way: "We must always take sides. Silence always aids the oppressor, never the oppressed." Of course, these days, we often argue who is the oppressed and who is the oppressor. I intuit from these profound thoughts that we must call someone out when their words and actions cause injustices that affect any community. The Torah says we must welcome the stranger, that is, be accommodating and fight for the other in our midst, and justice you shall pursue. Think of the group ACT UP from the 1980s. Gay men with AIDS were dying all around, and the community was devastated. ACT UP fought because they were obligated to speak up against injustices of silence. Their slogan, a pink triangle symbolizing the homosexuals who were exterminated in Germany, and their slogan, silence equals death. There were die-ins, marches, confrontations, lobbying. People were exposed, many for the first time, to the reality that they had gay neighbors, coworkers, teachers, and more. TV talk show hosts put a face on the gay man, as did interviews of AIDS patients' last days alone in hospital wards. There was no national support until straight people also began to get sick. Putting a face on the other is a first step in recognizing that we are all other, all unique, all complicated, but also interconnected and in the image of God. As we move forward, we must stop the slander. We must understand that we all have angers, passions, and triggers. We must step back in order to hear, not just listen, to what someone is saying, consider their painful words, and then ask more questions to clarify, observe, and gain a more filled-in picture of the other, rather than reacting to our own assumptions. We must also sound the great shofar against injustices to the many communities we know of, as well as those communities we have not yet even thought to acknowledge, understand, or get to know personally. We must not be seduced by the idea that all the information we need to know is on a posting somewhere on the internet. Where one's rights end, whether it be religious or constitutional, another's rights begin. As Jews, we are responsible for one another. As United States citizens, we are all responsible for one another. And as human beings, we are all responsible for one another. May we take these commandments to heart and do the hard work to move forward in a way that divides less and reunites us more. Ken Yehi Ratzon, so may it be. Amen.
Thank you, Cantor Fine. Thank you. It's now my pleasure to invite Carolyn Elsey, member of our Board of Trustees, for some announcements and words of welcome.
Thank you. I am very happy to be here. I am a member of the board, and I'm the chair of the Adult Education Committee and have some announcements for you. And thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you to Cantor Fine and Nina for leading us in services this evening. This week we have, and over the next couple of weeks, we've got a number of events which are going to be happening on Zoom. And the links for every meeting and all these events can be found in the Shabbat Shalom email that gets sent out every Thursday. First, tomorrow morning and every Saturday morning, we have Shabbat services and a Torah reading Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. and you're always welcome to join in. And just on a personal note, if you want to chant Torah, you haven't done it in a while, or you want to learn how, Saturday mornings that's a great opportunity to do that, and it's a wonderful supportive audience to work on your chanting. Secondly, we have Zoom Havdalah tomorrow night at 7:30. Religious School has a parent-teacher meeting to discuss the school year. That occurs this Sunday at 6:30 p.m. The Gesher Alumni Group will meet to discuss outreach and future events also this Sunday. That will be at 7:15. The third of 5 community meetings to discuss the transition and future of Temple Beth El will be this Monday at 7 p.m. That's November 9th. Those who are signed up for this meeting should have received an email with the details and will receive a reminder email on Sunday. Also, you can purchase tickets to attend the docent-led virtual tour of the Levi Strauss exhibit located at the Contemporary Jewish Museum in San Francisco on Sunday, November 15th, so a week from Sunday. That is at 2:00 p.m. And that is an event through Sisterhood. The Shabbat Shalom email will have details regarding that. Also, and much to everyone's delight, I'm sure, the Temple Beth El Judaica shop will be open for virtual Hanukkah shopping this year. They will be hosting a virtual opening event on Sunday, the 15th of November, which is a week from this Sunday, at 5 p.m. There's an email was sent to everyone with the information on how to RSVP, and it should have received an order form that will be used this year. And I apologize for my dog barking crazily in the background. She always waits till I'm on Zoom to do this. If you haven't gotten that, please let someone on the board know, and we'll be sure to get you the information you need. Last, we are continuing with a series of community meetings to discuss the transition and future of Temple Beth El with Rabbi Flash. And these meetings are all at the same time, and you only need to attend one of the meetings. The Zoom meeting link was sent via email to those who have expressed interest. And the number of attendees is limited in order to ensure that everybody has the opportunity to be heard and engage, and that discussions don't get out of hand. We're hosting 2 additional meetings as there's been a lot of interest in having these. The 2 new dates and times are Sunday, November 15th, so a week from this Sunday, and that's from 10 a.m. to noon, and Sunday, November 22nd, from 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. And there's an email that will be going out next week with a link to a poll where you can indicate your preferred date for those who are not already signed up to attend a meeting. And again, you only have to attend one. You can also reach out to the President Aaron Peterson if you would prefer to have a discussion directly with Rabbi Flash. Temple Beth El is now in stage Bet with regard to opening up and accommodating people coming to the facilities. And stage Bet allows individuals or families in the same household to meet with staff and clergy. It's important to note that we will still be asking that you meet remotely when possible. There'll be no drop-in appointments or drop-in meetings. You have to have an appointment, and there will be protocols regarding contact, and you'll be notified of that when you confirm your appointment. A staff member will be in the office during the usual business hours, Tuesday through Friday, so that you can call the office if needed. But again, there's no drop-in meetings allowed at this time. If you're in need of help or willing to help those in need, please contact temple clergy, staff, or leadership. Shabbat Shalom, and as we move into the winter season, everyone stays safe and healthy. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks,
Thank
Carolyn.
you, Carolyn. Thank you, Carolyn's dog.
Yes.
That was a joyful noise. It may have been hard for you, but it brought me joy to hear your dog. As we prepare for Misha Berach, our prayers for health and healing, I invite you to enter into the names of people who especially need our prayers tonight into the chat. And I know for me, I am praying that our country and everyone who lives here, that we can grow toward unity and face each other with love and compassion. It's a long list of people who need our healing prayers tonight. So I just want to, that's my little highlight. I know, Kendra Fine, you have some things you want to say too.
Sure. I have Debbie Jop, who I mentioned is recovering. My dear friend Roger Abdel, who was in the hospital and is now home after 2 months in the hospital. Very happy. And then I'm also thinking of all the people, the new cases of COVID, which is rising alarmingly fast. There were 7,000 new cases in Washington this week, 446,000 plus in the United States, including 2 days of over 90,000 a day, and on the 4th and 5th, over 100,000 each day. Also in the world, there are now, this week, there were over 2 million new cases. And so I'm thinking of all of those people and all of their families and all of their friends on this Shabbat.
So let's join together on page 253 for Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor Abracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor Abracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
I invite you to rise as you are able and turn to page 282 for Elena.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Please be seated. שהונות השמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושבי קרוב השמיים ממעל, ושכינתו זו בגובה מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אין עוד, אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו, ככתוב בתורתו, וידעת היום והשבות אל לבביך, כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ מתחת, אין עוד.
On page 287. The oneness of God is declared in the Shema, yet that oneness is not apparent in the world. Human action can bring oneness and peace to all.
ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
In preparation for Mourner's Kaddish, I invite you to turn to page 294. And I offer these words. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death, all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love we are comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you.
And so we now ask first to rise those who have lost someone in the past day, weeks, or month. And next, I'll ask those to rise who are observing a yahrzeit on this Shabbat. And I invite all of us to rise as we remember those who have lost their lives to COVID. And this week, we think of the 77 people in Washington State, the over 5,500 in the United States, and over 140,000 in the world. We also remember in our community this week the loss of Gertie Crone Delgado, who was the first cousin by marriage for Suzanne Leishman. And also in the period of Shloshim, Harold Jack Lieberman, father of Anna Peterson, and Robert Grayson, husband of Terry Grayson, and Sharon Leifson, wife of Randy Leifson. We also remember in Yahrzeit on this Shabbat, Evelyn Bolt, Lori Epstein, Joan Sexton, Debbie Fine, Jane Green, Paul Lefkow, Mickey Aronowitz, Ethel Doctor, Paul Cohen, Robert Fields, Paul Lucky, Rita Rosengarten, Earl Elman, Lily Levi, Harold Sklar, Jack Bender, Roy Betteridge, Clara Sos. We join together. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, b'alma divrach hirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon, u'v'chayedecho beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'amei almaya. Yitbarach ve'yishtabach ve'yitpa'ar ve'yitromam ve'yitnaseh ve'yithadar ve'yit'aleh ve'yithalal shemei dekudisha barich hu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechemata da'amioran be'alma ve'imru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya ve'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mamav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. We say zichronam livracha, may their names and all that they created and lived for be for a blessing. And we say, Amen.
Thank you to everyone who helped participate tonight. Thank you to Carolyn and Marlene and John and Aaron, who you can't see, but we know is here. And we sure miss Debbie. Hope she is well soon. And of course, thanks to you, Cantor Fine, and for all of you for being here with us tonight.
And thank you, Nina, and thank you for wonderfully leading. It's just always a joy to have our wonderful leadership at the temple providing great services each weekend. So thank you.
And so please join us for our closing song on page 346. It's the second paragraph, V'nomar lefanav, and then we'll do Kiddush and Motzi on page 5 and page 302.
And this song I chose this evening because it reminds me of new wonders, of new possibilities, of new learning, of new blessings, and singing a new song for us all as we journey forward. V'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, v'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, v'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, v'nomar lefanav shira chadasha. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, v'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, v'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, v'nomar lefanav shira chadasha, v'nomar lefanav shira chadasha. Now we join for Kiddush and Motzi. You can find the Kiddush on page 5, and then the Motzi on page 302. Join with me. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron le'maseh v'reshit ki hu yom tehillah lemikra'e kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'charta v'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat lechaim. And we break bread, these beautiful chalot made by one of our congregants, Debbie Friedman. Thank you, Debbie. We join together. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon. B'te'avon. Shabbat Shalom, a peaceful Shabbat. Mazel tov again to John and Marlene, and have a great Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.